Earth got used up, so we moved out and terraformed a whole new galaxy Earths. Some rich and flush with new technologies, and some, well, not so much. Cassidy Cayde, captain of the Fallen Mercury, a junk ship she built herself. Now she's putting together a crew, but the main mission is to figure out where she came from. You see, the Astral elves, what Cassidy is, all but disappeared. Now she's flying planet to planet, searching for clues as to where they all went. This is The Last Astral. Well, hi, hello, everybody. My name is Turk. Welcome back to the Grouch Couch. Around here, we do all different kinds of solo RPG things, but that's right. Today, my friends, we are continuing on Notorious and Outsiders with Cassidy Cayde. That's right. I've got Macaroni here with me. This is my dog, Macaroni. If you didn't know, recently, we just released a brand new t-shirt that says Roll for Treats on it, and all proceeds from that go to his medication. So, big thanks to everybody who's already picked up one of them shirts. I wanted to show you that he's doing good right now. Good boy. Yes. Yeah. Continuing on, yes, my friends, we're continuing on our sci-fi story with Cassidy Cayde. I am blown away by the amount of you guys who were excited that we're continuing Cassidy's story. I didn't know that many of you had watched the Ironsworn Starforge series, so I just want to say thank you so much. And I'm so excited to finish off Notorious. Maybe today, we might be finishing today, and then we're going to continue Cassidy's story with Astral Prisma. I'm really excited to play this one. In the couch community right now, this is a hot topic, so I'm really excited to dive into it a little bit myself with Cassidy Cayde, yes. But that being said, yes, we may finish today's story. There will be no recap, but you can go back and watch episode 1 if you want to. And again, I know I'm mentioning Ironsworn Starforge, but you do not need to go back and watch that series at all either. Hopefully, we're going to do a good little story here today with this game, good enough to where you don't need to go watch that. And it's going to be the same for Astral Prisma, all right? So hey, if you came back to here from there, first of all, weird meta we're in right now, but thank you so much. All right. Now, I'm very excited, so I kind of just want to jump right back into gameplay. And I also had a crazy idea. This Outsiders book, if we find our target today and they end up being cool enough, or maybe even with the bug guy that we might develop, we could go back and do a prequel with one of those characters with this Outsiders book on this planet. You know what I mean? Like, why are they there? Before they join our crew, if they join our crew, we could go back and see a little bit of prequel with Outsiders. That could be fun. So, you know, if Notorious gets enough love, that's what we're going to do. Heck yeah. That being said, though, as well, I did send out a question for you guys to talk about the bug creature that we ran into. And you guys did leave a bunch of fun comments for said bug creature. So once we go back to our ship and we actually talk to that guy, I'm going to head over to the comments and we're going to make a roll chart. We're going to figure out what his deal is and see if we actually want him to join the crew. Yeah. Okay. Here's our exploration charts. We've got our character sheet. We are at notoriety 2 is what I've written down. We're at 2 favor and 2 motivation. So we should potentially start running into some important things. I want to get literally any kind of lead for as to where we're going to find this character, because right now we have 0 idea, pretty much. And I'm very excited to figure out who this character is, because I'm very excited to build this crew for Cassidy and tell this sci-fi story. I don't know why, I'm just so pumped for it right now. I'm not like the craziest lover of sci-fi stuff, but I don't know, this story just gets me, so I'm just excited. All right, we have our 2d6 rolling some different dice today. We've got a cool orange one and a cool black one. This is what we're going to be rolling today. And we're going to just start our game loop, and we're going to see how it goes. Exploration, destination, that's right. And I want to lay these out just for a little bit of theme on the table. What items did we fictionally end with? Ammo and fuel canister. Fair enough. And today, I might ask some yes or no questions. This game does not have yes or no questions in it, but I might be asking yes or no questions as we play. If things feel like stretch or anything else like that, I might be asking some yes or no questions. And we're going to do that by just rolling a d6, all right? And 1 through 3 is no, 4 through 6 is yes. If we feel like it's likely, we'll roll 2 dice and take the higher. If we feel like it's unlikely, we'll roll 2 dice and take the lower. Easy peasy. Now, let's our gameplay begin. Exploration table. All right, first dice. And I want to see if this is set up. I've set up a second camera so we can see the dice box better. Look at that. Now we actually know what that is. That's a 4. All right. If your notoriety is 4 or higher, you encounter a lead. Otherwise, roll once in the exploration table. Our notoriety is only 2, so no leads yet. So let's go ahead and roll on the exploration table. Let's roll to see which table. That's a 4. So we're gonna roll on this table here. That's a 3. It's so much better now that I can just see the dice. My goodness. And before I even start the fiction, I'm trying to roll on our exploration table just to kind of lay the land for our first scene, right? Okay, 4 and a 3 leads us here. 2 hostile scouts from the old empire speed past you on screeching hover bikes. Roll a die, okay? That's a 6. They notice you and dismount to ask a few questions. Why do you get the sense they're just bored and looking for some trouble? I don't know. But here's what I'm already thinking. When I went into this, I already kind of had a general idea, and it's crazy that the rolls have just boosted my general idea. General idea? Right. So Cassidy is crouched on her hoverboard, right? If we remember, she had this hover skimmer is what we called it. She's crouched on her skimmer as it skims across this jungle planet. She's like on her skimmer going across the boards, engine is whirring. I think she has used some of these new fuel canisters she's found, so it's running kind of actually well. Is it running well? Let's ask a yes or no question. Here we go. That's a 5. So yes, it's running actually pretty well, and she's like just amazed by how better it sounds, her skimmer. And it's whirring underneath her boots. It's just like warm wind, rushing past her, and her ears and her hair like flapping in the wind. And we go past a bunch of trees, and we're just in this jungly area, because way back in the last episode of Ironsworn, we described this planet as being jungly. So we're going to this jungly planet, and I think we're just skimming across this planet trying to go to the next destination. We think that Navi isn't in this town, right? Obviously, this starport town. Navi isn't here. If she was, she would have been found already. So we're just trying to go to the next destination, see if she's in a town over or something, right? We've got no leads. And as we're skimming across the jungle, behind her floating, obviously, her little robot, failsafe. And I think, that being said, we should implement something from the old Empire here, because we have our dice roll. We know the old Empire is here, right? In this area. So maybe there's like some kind of like a floating beacon or something from the old Empire that we like rush past. We just go past it. And failsafe is like,
Cassidy, did you see that? I think we should stop.
We're not stopping, failsafe. We need to get to the next area.
I don't think we should stop, man, but we should establish diplomatic relations.
And she's like, what are you even talking about? She's like yelling at him over the wind. What are you even talking about? And as we're whirring through the trees, I think maybe he gives up. And then before we reach whatever is next in front of us, because we're going to be rolling for our next destination, 2 old Empire speeders zoom up right next to her, and they're like right next to us as we're like whirring through the trees, and they're like with us, right? And she's looking over at them, and they're looking over at her, and they're just kind of staring at her, and we're like zooming through these trees. And I want to ask another yes or no question here, and I want to see if Cassidy can kind of lose their trail before we make it to our next destination. Can she lose them? That's a 6, so yes, absolutely. I think maybe she hits the brakes on her skimmer, something maybe the speeders can't do, and like stops on a dime, and they go whirring past, and then she heads to the left instead. Just takes off. We just completely lose these guys. But we know that they're there. They have a presence, right? That is obvious for us. Now, as we can see here as well, they notice you and dismount. We kind of made up our own fiction in this book, and they have +1 like attack on this thing, so if they would have attacked us, we'd have had that there, but we rolled our yes or no question. We're just kind of able to just completely avoid it altogether, which I'm totally fine. The yes or no questions are going to help our story develop a little bit more, and they're also going to help us move quickly or faster through this, all right? I'm not going to be sitting here thinking for way too long while I'm recording. Right, so it's going to help me out a lot, and it's one thing I noticed rewatching the last episode. I was like, I should have been asking some questions, so here we are. Now we're going to roll for our destination. Let's figure out where exactly we arrive here. So let's roll the black one this time. Why not? That's a 4. You arrive at a small town run by locals. Choose one. Roll once in the destinations table. Speak with a local, then rest, or barter for supplies to gain 1 motivation. Now we're going to roll on the destinations. So we arrive to a small jungly town. Fun. Do we have anything about that here? We have the outreach embassy. We have the Lektok junk trawler, which absolutely could be where we end up here. At like a junk town, Because if we remember, we write down our 6 important locations from the book. We write down 6 of them here. And number 2 is Lektok junk trawler. Okay, but let's roll to see which table we're going to roll on next. That's a 4. So that'll be this one. Another 4. Doubles. As we arrive to this small local town, a Murrian, rat-like species, agent or thief tries to steal from us. They wait for the right moment. When you're distracted, roll a die. They take something important to you. Lose 1 motivation. Or you catch them in the act and they get hostile. Alright, so we might have a little bit of combat here. But now we're here at this town. We're at this junk town. So, fiction here. We roll up in this town. We know the old Empire is kind of chasing us a little bit. So we kick off our skimmer and she folds it up. I still picture the skimmer as kind of like a scooter. It's like a hover scooter. I don't know why, but I totally do. We kick off the thing and she folds it up and throws it on her back, and failsafe zooms in behind us. And I think we just walk into the first establishment that we see because we want to get away from the old Empire. So like very quickly, she looks around and just steps right inside of this place. And I think because we assume it's Lektok junk trawler, because it's the only one that makes sense for this small little town. It's probably a big old junk trader in here. So there's all different kinds of junk stuff all over the walls, and there's rat people here, obviously, but I just imagine that there's another floating, weird-looking anteater bug alien. It's like, welcome into my store. It's good to have you here. Don't look at anything for too long. You buy or you get out. And we don't want any magical mind tricks around here, you weird aliens. Just because that's fun for me. And he's like floating around, looking at everybody. And as we step in here, we're probably looking at some fun stuff on the wall. I think Cassidy's probably really curious of this stuff because she was stuck on Janus for so long that her other planet, that seeing all this cool new technology and stuff is sparking ideas in her mind. She's like, whoa, this would be really cool for the ship, or maybe this, or, you know, she'll see like some cool thrusters or something on the wall or something like that. And she's like, wow, just look at all this cool stuff. And when we're not paying attention, we're going to roll. We're either going to get robbed, or we're going to get into a fight. So, a rat-kin person. That is a 4. So we catch them in the act. They try to take something from us, our skimmer, maybe right off our back. And we turn around and she's like, hey, don't touch me. And they get hostile. He's like, I was just looking and inspecting. I wasn't trying to take. Why did you seem like an easy or valuable target to the Murray? He's like, you're not from around here, are you? You should know to keep all your stuff strapped down. And she's like, no, I'm not from around here. And he's like, good, well then give it to me. And I think he pulls out a little blade, but it's like a little vibro blade that's got like a little green line going through it, you know what I mean? Just because he's gonna get hostile, which means we're gonna get into some combat. Yes. Or I guess we don't actually have to do combat. We can do the other action we have in here that is threaten. You may try to threaten hostiles you meet without resorting to violence. Add half your notoriety, round it up. So +1. On a success, the hostile backs down. I still don't know what these charts are for. They're very interesting, but I don't know what they're for. But I think it's because I'm imagining so much stuff already that we don't need it. So I believe this is a contested action. Yeah, so we have threaten right here. On a hostile, we can absolutely threaten a hostile. It says yes. Yeah, so it even tells us over here, it's like, after the threat's neutralized, roll on this table. I'm like, cool, but I don't know if any of those will really fit in our current fiction, but we'll see. Maybe we'll make it make sense. We'll try. All right, the orange one is ours, the black one is the enemy. We have a +1 on this. He got a 2 and we got a 3 +1, which makes it a 4. So she turns around and she's like, I think she pulls out her sonic wrench and she pushes a button and it's like, like on the end of it. And she's like, I will end your life, rat man. I suggest you get out of here before we have some problems. And he goes, fine. And he sulks out. Well, maybe before he goes, let's roll on threat neutralize just to see if that can actually give us anything. That's 5. They grumble about someone they knew who became a nomad. Why did that person join the guild and what became of them? Oh, so as he's leaving, he says, you know who you remind me of? That other nomad guy. Fine, I won't hurt you, I guess. Okay, we're here in this area. All this junk, all this stuff. We're here in our destination. So now we can explore around this town a little bit and see maybe what we might find. Yeah, scene 1 done, I think. We made it to the town, did a couple rolls. That's scene 1. Gameplay loop. It's happening, everybody. So, we're gonna go ahead and roll again. Let's roll our first one. 5. If your notoriety is 3 or higher, you encounter a lead. So close. So close. We need notoriety. We need to kill somebody so we can get some notoriety. Oh, yeah. Okay, and a 1. So rolling on this table here. What do we think of this camera? I think it's so helpful. It's literally a second webcam I put there just for this. All right, 1 and 4. A speeding vehicle appears out of nowhere, and 2 hostiles who work for a powerful crime boss leap out to confront you. Roll a die. Oh my goodness. So she steps out of this junk shop, and right away, I think it's like a hover, like Corvette, like there's no top on it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like flat car with no windshield. Maybe a little bit junky because we're in a junk town. That makes sense. And it's from a mob boss. So it has to be the Silver Order. But let's roll, let's see. That's a 6. I can't see that. That's a 6. They're masked humans. What do their masks look like, and where have you seen them before? Okay, are they Silver Order wearing masks? I just 50-50. Let's roll a d6. That's a 5. Yes, they're Silver Order wearing masks. Maybe we could tell by the amount of tattoos and earrings that they have, just all the metal. Maybe their masks are literally made out of prime silver metal. And as they jump out, so this has to be because we scared off the other guy. We blew up one of their mines previously. I don't know if they would know that that was us because it's a whole ass planet away, but they've come here to confront us. Okay, well first, before we decide what they do, I think right away, failsafe is
Man, it's the Silver Order, man. Be careful.
Yes, I know, failsafe. Don't say a word. She like puts her whole hand on his face, like, stop it. And then 2 hostiles, so 2 of them jump out of the car. I want to remember something on that. I think straight up, as they jump out and they're all threatening, they're here to threaten us. And we've already had a bad experience with these guys, and this is dangerous because there is 2 of them, but I think straight up, we're just gonna fight these guys. There's no talking, there's no getting out of this. Like, this has come back to bite us in the butt. We've got history. It kind of just is what it is. So we're going to attack, but we have an ability here. Failsafe, our robot, he fights first. So after she puts her hand over, I think Failsafe's like face, you know what I mean? Stops him. I think maybe he's got like an attack mode button, and I think she pushes it, you know? And then his eyes, instead of being green, go red, and she goes, sick him. And then he goes, like runs up. Maybe he has like, I don't know, some kind of like gadgetry or something on his hands. It's hard to envision what it might be. Junk like saws, like rusty forks or something. And he just runs right over to him. And we're gonna, there's 2 of them, so maybe he can attack one and we can attack the other. So, and this is still contested. And these guys have +1 heart and +1 attack. So they have 1 defense, basically. That's the way this game works. You got a defense, and if you have no defense, you die. That's the whole thing. So, the orange one is Failsafe, and he has +2 attack. Get him, Failsafe. That is a 6 and a 6, which is even. What happens if it's even? Let us double check. I don't think it means anything. If the result of the Nomad die is higher, then it succeeds. That's all it says. If it's higher. So if it's even, it failed. That sucks. We could make a ruling, or we'll spend a motivation, which we have. That's right. We have 2 motivation. We'll spend a motivation to re-roll the Nomad die. So we have a 6, and as long as they don't get a 6, then we can succeed here. That's a 5. Okay, so failsafe succeeds. But our motivation goes down to 1. So he's in attack mode, so
I'm going to kill you, motherfuckers. Prepare to die.
But he's got like rusty forks and spoons and stuff on his hands. Either way, they both have 1 armor, so he's gonna break through the first guy's armor by like, you know what I mean, just like scratching him up with his little arms. He's like, what the robot, get off me. Now, Cassidy has stolen a vehicle from these dudes before. No, she's stolen a drill from them before, a big drill machine from one of their mines, and drove it like crazy. So she clocks that car, right? We want to steal that car. That's what we want. So we need to take these guys out. So now it's her turn to attack. She's gonna attack the same guy, all right? And we already knocked out his armor. So now on a hit, he's out, right? And we're going to use our sonic wrench. That's what we're gonna use. She's gonna clock him right in the face with it. The 6 is ours. We have a +2. And I think actually since, hold on, did I do that wrong? I don't think the enemies roll dice against us. I think if we fail, right, then they hit us. So I think I actually did that previous roll wrong, because they have a +1 to damage as well. So they both should have been 6s previously, actually. But we'll roll with the punches for now. We'll remember that now. They have a +1, we have a +2. The orange one is ours. Oh no, so they got a 6, we got a 5, which means that they hit us, they're gonna take out one of our armor. We have a personal shield / tool belt, right? So as we go to swing it, they dodge under, and then I think they might have like big old silver blades, like silver daggers. I mean, they're the Silver Order, right? So the shining silver blade, and he's gonna slice through our tool belt, and he's gonna take off one of our armor. So we're only gonna have 1 armor left. Okay, failsafe. It's your go again, buddy. Gotta go over there and get him. Don't fail. Failsafe has +2, they have +1. Same as us. 6 and 1, oh goodness. So he just destroys this guy. He slices us with his blade, and then Failsafe is like,
death has come to you this day. You have died. You have died. You have died. You have died. You have died.
just glitching out, stabbing the crap out of this dude. He's dead. Yes, he's dead. Death by robot. And we're gonna turn and we're looking at this other guy. If we were playing a different game, I would be rolling morale for the other guy because he'll see the devastation that just happened to his buddy from this robot. I would be rolling morale for him. But since we're playing this game, I think we just continue on. So Cassie's gonna turn and she's gonna think really hard. She's gonna try to use her mystical powers just to push this guy like up against the wall or up against the car, just like to push him away, you know? She just got sliced and she's like holding her stomach and she's just gonna try to use her powers because she has these powers. She doesn't know how to use them. We got to use it once in the last episode. We're gonna try to use it again today. And she's like, come on, do something, come on. And she puts her finger, like classic, puts her fingers on her head and we'll see if we succeed. And we have a +2 on this as well. Mystic power. That's a 1 and a 4. Okay, we're gonna use our last motivation to re-roll. I think it's worth it. So we're out of motivation. It's fine, we can get more. It's fine, absolutely fine. That's a 6, okay. All right, so 8 and 5. So she throws him back up against the car and then she turns to Failsafe and she's like, finish the job.
Here I come, here I come.
Sick him. Kill him, killer. Oh, well, he did not. He actually absolutely missed. And we're out of motivation, so he's going to take damage. So he actually has 1 heart himself. So he whips out his blade and slices Failsafe's arm off or something. That's like a part of his armor. Well, do we want to take off Failsafe's arm so he only has 1 arm? Then we'd have to redo the art. How about not? We'll just take off some of his armoring off his head. She's got a big gash in his head now. She's like, no, Failsafe, I'll save you. And she runs over with her wrench, hit this dude in the head. That is a 6 and a 4, which means we knock him out. Ping. Now, we have hostiles here. We can spare them or we can kill them. And we do not like these guys. I do not think Cassidy Cayde is a killer, but I think when it comes to the Silver Order, like I said previously, she does not tolerate these guys. She spent a lot of time on Janus and seen all the bad that these guys do. So obviously Failsafe killed the first one. She's gonna kill the second one. This is gonna get us 2 notoriety for killing both of these guys, putting us up to 4. Then we're going to hop in their car and take it and get the heck out of here. Yeah, we're gonna drive to the furthest end of this town to our destination. Where do we arrive? 2. You arrive in a small outpost or enclave run by a challenging faction. Choose 1. Search for anyone who might know your target, or speak with locals who work here to gain 1 motivation. We'll stop on the edge, and it's going to be not the Silver Order, obviously. It's the challenging faction. So it is the Silver Order here. So we just pull up to a stop real quick in their car. We see one of the local Silver Order guys working at this outpost, and we go, hey buddy, this is mine now. You might want to go check on your friends. Just taunting them, I guess. So, and then we'll do that to get motivation. Oh goodness. Now let's roll to see what happens. We'll say somewhere else in this town as we pull away. Roll chart 1. That is a 5. You've heard that a reclusive mystic mentor or tribunal shaman lives nearby. They don't receive many unexpected visitors, so roll a die. So maybe keep it fictional. We pull away from there, and as we're driving around the town, this junk town, Cassidy's like looking at all the paperwork and stuff in the car, and maybe she sees like a map that has a circle on it, and it says something about this mystic mentor. And she goes, oh, let's go check that out. So we're gonna pull around to that, and then we're gonna roll a d6 to see how this goes. That's a 1. They don't open their door, but take 1 look at your scar, and refuse to let you in. What word did they keep repeating as they ushered you away? Oh, goodness. So to make it work for our fiction, it'll be our scars on our ears from taking our iron vows. And as she sees us, she's going to say, Astral Elf, Astral Elf, Astral Elf. And she's not going to let us in. She's going to just keep repeating it like as if she's afraid of us, like it's scary. And Cassidy's going to be like, what the heck? She's going to get back in the car and be like, well, that was no help. Okay, and then we're back to exploration. Do we stay here in this town, or do we go somewhere else? I don't know, but let's roll to see, and then we'll work the fiction into it, because we totally stole us a car, which probably means that we should bounce, because it sounds like this town is being controlled by the Silver Order, this junk town, which makes sense fictionally, actually, as well. So let's see. That's a 4. If your notoriety is 4 or higher, you encounter a lead. Finally, my goodness. On page 62, because we actually have 4 notoriety now because we killed some folks. We encounter a lead. Before you can finish the job, you'll need a few leads. Known associates of the target, leads may provide clues about their goals and where they are. As soon as your notoriety hits 3 or more, you might be prompted to create a lead when you explore. As your notoriety increases, so is the encountering a lead. To create a lead, first roll for a showdown to establish the location where you encounter them in the wilderness. Showdown on page 66. Like any good film, your key confrontation should happen somewhere memorable. Your growing reputation. So we're gonna have a showdown with every lead? Interesting. Roll on the sight setting. Okay. All right, let's see. Sight 5. You feel drawn to them in the ruins of a mystic temple full of whisperings and strange symbols. Sight and setting. Okay. Mystic temple on the edge of the junk town. 2. The temperature is rapidly becoming dangerously high or freezing cold, so it's hot here. A hot mystic temple. Now I already have some ideas, but now it tells us to roll on our species. Make sure my hat doesn't get all up the camera. Species and personality table to figure out their key information. Then roll on leads to discover who they are. And our third lead isn't a lead at all. Our third lead will be our target. And the YouTuber part of me wants to be like, well, let's just make the first lead the target and get the heck off this planet. You know what I mean? But we're not gonna do that. At least not yet. Okay, personality. Where's the personality of this person in this really hot temple? 2. Skittish and nervous. What kind of species are they? This is 2d6. That is a 6. They are reptilian, skittish reptilian person, okay? Now we roll on the leads table to discover who they are. Why are they in this mystical temple? I have ideas already, so we'll see. They're desperate for money and were hired by your target. Roll for their faction and resolve all. I actually have an idea because this is a mystic temple. I'm not going to use this at all. I'm not going to use this because it's going to make us do a faction thing, and then, you know, and I think whenever you're playing any kind of solo game, if you have something that fits your story, you know what I mean, make it happen. But I think in the fiction, we're driving this car through this jungle and we do see this temple, and as we're getting closer, things are getting hotter, and Cassidy's like, I just really want to go in there. That lady literally nearby was talking about astral elves, and I want to go and see what is going on. So we approach this temple and we go up these crazy large stairs with all these symbols and stuff everywhere. Is any of it familiar looking to Cassidy? Yes or no? That is a 2. No, none of it is familiar to her. So we go up these stairs and we get inside, and I think maybe even we don't even go inside this place. Standing out front in like the sun and everything is like a monk, and he's like a monk of this temple. And we approach him and he doesn't say anything at first, and we're just like, hey, hello, I was drawn here. I'm looking for somebody by the name of Navi. Do you know who they are? And he slowly looks up to us in his like monkish robes, and maybe he has the same symbols painted on his skin, and he looks up at us and he goes, why, yes, my child. Navi used to study here. She was learning all about the ancient civilization and the speci and races that have come before us, the powers that they hold. She used to study here at the temple. And he's like, okay, so she has been here. Well, thank you so much. What exactly do you guys do here? Are they in relation to astral elves at all? I'm gonna call it unlikely, so we're gonna roll 2d6 and take the lower. That's 2 6s? My goodness. So, yes, they are related to the astral elves a lot. And he goes, well, my child, you should know. We've been waiting for the day when you, or one of you, would arrive. And I think we have to do like some real storyline stuff here. So we're going to stop the game for a sec. And I think he's going to turn around and he like does like some Naruto Shinjutsu kind of stuff. And this door opens where like, and all this dust and stuff comes out of it. Looks like no one's been in here in a really, really long time. And as we walk in, there's like a bunch of old tech just lined up. And in the center, there's just like a pedestal, but there's like no power or anything. And as we walk in, she like looks at him and she's like, what? And he's like, approach. If you are true, then it will happen. And as she steps up to this thing, I would roll a yes or no on this, but I kind of want this to happen for my story. As she steps up to this thing, just like it happened back on Janus, power just starts in all the old tech that is around in this temple. And the center pedestal turns on, and it's like, welcome, Astral Elf. Cassidy's like, hello? And then it goes, dispensing. And another piece of the map emerges from this beacon. So I'm talking about is a beacon right here. And she takes it and she goes, thank you. And the tech goes, you're welcome, Cassidy Cayde. Good luck on your adventure. Oh. And then she like hesitantly turns around and looks at the monk, and he just nods at her. And then together they walk out in silence as she like puts the other piece of the map into her little wristwatch thingy, and it turns on while they're walking, and it flashes this whole other part of this like sector of map and space, and we're getting a little bit more closer as to where we actually need to be. And she's looking at it and she's like, whoa, this is not what I came here for at all. And the guy's like, sometimes, my child, the universe just guides you to where you need to be. And she goes, oh, okay, thanks, I'll see you later. And he's like, yes, you will. And we descend down these stairs. I wanted it to be a quick little thing. Of course, in our story, we could have gone into way more detail and done way more stuff in this little temple, but I feel like this is a place we could return to in the future. You know what I mean? Now that we know a little bit more about Freya and everything else happening, Astro Prisma might lead us back to Freya. But we have the second piece of this map, this beacon here, leading our actual solo story forward a little bit of Cassidy Cayde, which is cool because in every system, I want to get more pieces of the beacons and everything. Could be great. So nice. And I feel like doing that is justified. Getting a double 6 on a yes or no question, you know, the dice tell all. All right. So we're going to move back onto our game loop and see if we can find this person and get the heck off Freya. All right. Really truthfully. Exploration table. Our notoriety is 4. And that right there is a 4 again, which was, if your notoriety is 4 or higher, encounter a lead. So we go back down to our car and start driving away when we encounter something else here on Freya. Another lead immediately. And maybe we just make this lead our target. I think it's time. I think it is time, my friends. We got our beacon. This is a sign. So as we're traveling, where do we end up here? To create a target, first roll for showdown. Cool. So where do we find them? The site. 5. You feel drawn to them in the ruins of a mystic temple. I'm gonna go on ahead and re-roll unless we backtrack a little bit here. Rewind. And as we're going down the stairs, we look up and we might see them there. Like, we haven't actually gotten in the car and left yet. I mentioned that, but maybe that hasn't actually happened. Let's see the setting. Does the setting change at all? 2. The temperature is rapidly becoming dangerously high. Okay, so it's exactly the same. So then yes, they are here. That's crazy that we've rolled that. Now let's see what their race and their personality is here. And here's the big thing. This is the big one. We'll roll for their personality first, but I also want to roll to see if they are also an astral elf. They could be someone that will help teach us our powers. They could be someone, you know what I mean? Something. So let's roll for personality. Okay. I really want it to be solemn, sincere, and thoughtful. So we might roll twice, but it could be fun also to have an arrogant and cocky kind of guide in our story. It really could be fun to do that. So let's just roll and see what happens, and then maybe we'll see if we want to roll again. That is a 5. Solemn, sincere, and thoughtful. Okay, exactly what I thought. So this character is solemn, sincere, and thoughtful. Now, I'm going to call it likely, and we're going to roll 2d6. Are they an elder astral elf? That is a 6 and a 4, which is 2 yeses, which means yes, they are an elder astral elf. Are they male or are they female? 1 through 3 will be male, 4 through 6 will be female. 4, it is an elder female astral elf. I imagine as we're getting to the bottom of the stairs, they're in like almost Jedi looking robes, like brown robes. And as we reach the bottom, this person starts walking out of the jungle, and we look up at them and they pull down their hood and we see their big ears all cut up from all the vows that they've made. And they look up at us, and it's this elderly woman. And goodness, I'm nervous. I really want to do their voice well. I really want it to be good moment here. But Cassidy looks, she's in absolute awe and shock. And I think she just points and she goes, Navi? And the woman gracefully steps forward and she nods her head and she says, yes, I've been waiting for you for a long time, my child. It's time for the new generation of astral elves to begin. I see the door has opened and you have claimed the beacon. Take me now to your ship. I have much to teach you. And Cassidy goes, oh my goodness. And Failsafe goes,
Holy shit, fuck.
That's correct. Let's go. And they climb in the car and they head off together. Now, as we reach back to the starport, there's one last thing we have to do. We must decide if we want to recruit the bug person to the crew. So we're going to have Tion, so that's an old woman, plus this astral elf woman that we don't have a name for yet. I will probably name them the first episode of Astral Prisma. We have Tion's sheep, because Tion had a magical sheep pet, right? Which was reminded in the comments the last episode. We still don't have a captain of this said ship, but maybe Cassidy will become the captain of her own ship. She just doesn't know it yet. You know what I mean? But anyways, we're putting together a crew. This is going to be a sick crew to have. To the comment section. We have Praying Mantis and we have Moth. Sharp as an attentive, good filler. Might be even like a sharp shooter. I think that's very cool. That's from Winged Wolf. But see what else we got. Sully sounds like a cicada to me. Sully, the cicada. Sully the moth could be true anyway. I think him having wings could be a lot of fun. He's like wings and has a sniper rifle. So he could be like a winged bug with a sniper. So he could fly up in the air and shoot down targets. You know what I mean? Kind of cool. Slick Sully, Ethan Grant says. Oh, and Obsidian Winters said cicada as well. And Beth says Sully is the walking stick. I forgot about that. Sully the walking stick. We could go with comedy or we could go with Moth. I think I really want to go with Moth because that just sounds fun as heck to me. Also comedy because Sully could be attracted to lights and what have you. Yes, Sharp Sully, the sharpshooter, and he's like a moth, but he's got like a red eyepiece thing that he puts over his eye whenever he goes to shoot stuff, totally like Deadshot or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's Slick Sully. I think that's what we're doing. Slick Sully is the moth. So as we approach back in the spaceport, I think we point the elf to the ship, and the dock comes down, and she walks up on the ship, and we can see her introducing herself to Tion. And as that's happening, we walk over to Slick Sully, and we're like, "Hey, Sully, so what do you think? Do you want to get off Freya and join the crew of the Fallen Mercury?" And I think he goes, "Yeah, man, you know what? That sounds pretty sweet." And he flutters his wings and some dust comes off. And I think at that point we see him holster his shoulder and he's got his big old sniper rifle. And he also has a backpack that has some mysterious stuff in it, some of his belongings, if we remember from this game. We never rolled on it, but that could be a mystery for the future. A mystery thread. Slick Sully's supplies. You know what I mean? And that's what we're going to do. And these four, now that our ship has been gassed up, are going to get into the ship and we're going to take off of Freya. And as it flies away in in the distance, we can see through the glass, the open glass of the fallen Mercury, we can see this astral elf talking to Cassidy, and we can only assume that they're talking about Cassidy's powers, and she's going to teach her a little bit how to better use them. And in the back, we already see Slick Sully getting comfortable in a bunk, polishing up a rifle, and of course, Tion is feeding treats to her sheep. What a crew! Very good. And that is Notorious, everybody. I think it'd be really fun to come back and do a game of Outsiders playing as Slick Sully the Moth. If y'all want to see that, I think 300 likes on this video, like goal. I'll come back, we'll do Outsiders, but we'll do it as Slick Sully, and we'll play without a pre-established storyline. So we'll play to whatever this says. Could be fun. And maybe that will teach us how we figure out whatever the hell Slick Sully has in his bag. But for now, that, my friends, is where we're going to end this. We are going to continue the story with Astro Prisma coming up in the probably next 2 weeks or so. I got to study it and learn it and figure out how to play it, and then we'll be playing Astro Prisma. So keep an eyeball out for that to continue on this story. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know what your thoughts are, and if you have name suggestions for this other Astral elf. Well, I guess her name is Navi, right? That's what we were calling her. Why did I think I didn't have a name for her yet? Her name is Navi. We know who she is. Why did I say that? That's so funny. I'm crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take a seat on the couch and roll initiative, at least until you find yourself flying through space yourselves. Roll on that, weirdos, by subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo!